welcome to another episode of Toro Podcast. Got Roger in the house. Great workout.
Yeah, man.
How you been,
workout. I've been good, man. I'm sore all over though. I feel like
My shoulder.
I showed up. I was like, you're like, what do you want to do? I was like, well, everything's sore, so I guess just everything. I could just get the adrenaline going and just move past it.
Yeah, man. It was a good workout.
Yeah, it was a great workout.
There was some burning out at the last minute.
Oh, what were they called? Russian twists? Is that what you call them?
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun. You're like weights? I was like, no weights, and you handed me the weight anyway. So thanks for
I was
pushing
like,
me.
stop being a bitch.
Thanks for pushing me.
Here's your little 8-pounder.
Sometimes yesterday I was doing shoulders and I did reverse cable flies, 5 pounds.
Yeah.
5 pounds. End of my workout was 5 pounds. They can't do any weight on that. They're so difficult to do.
Yeah, man. But I'm always happy to have you here.
Yeah.
Pushing each other,
man. Yeah.
Yeah. Always fun.
So I'm noticing something new.
What's that?
So there's some lights over there in the corner. What is that?
What, the computer?
Is that at your desktop? I never seen that before.
It was usually lower on the ground before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then I see a giant, what I'm considering to be a really cool Slurpee mug.
This
What
is
that?
a. I'll point it to the camera. Give me one second. So yeah,
Insane.
this is
It's wrapped in leather, dude.
A leather wrapped.
Slurpee mug.
It's not a Slurpee mug.
Yo,
What do you call it?
Perfect for grinding dungeons, man. Online.
It's
love it.
just a water bottle, if you will. But what do you call it? Like, what do you call
That's
this?
a Slurpee
jug?
mug.
It's not a jug.
It's a 40.
No,
It's a fancy 40.
No.
Yes, it is. Yo, if you rolled up in Philly with that, they were like, yo,
So
you
this
came
is
up.
we drink this tea in
What's the
Paraguay.
holder on the side for?
We drink a tea in Paraguay. I'm telling you, we drink a tea in Paraguay called tereré.
Uh-huh.
And this holds your tereré, and it's a social thing where the tea leaves are in the cup with a metal straw, and it's also wrapped in leather. It's downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And you serve it, you drink it, you serve it, you pass it on, and it's a social thing in Paraguay.
That's awesome.
And so when you go to Paraguay, they have, we drink cold in the summer.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people also drink it hot in the mornings. Like my parents drink it every single morning.
Really?
And if you drink it hot, it's called mate.
Mm-hmm.
And when you drink mate, you just hot water on the tea and you drink it. And
That's cool, man.
And they do it every single morning. So we went to Paraguay like maybe 15 years ago with my wife, and we got this. It says Jose and Elena, and
That's
down
awesome.
here it says Paraguay.
I love it.
And you can have it customized.
Yeah.
And then we also have another one that I had that was even nicer. And my brother, you're listening to this,
he got
stole it.
Give it back.
Give it back.
Give it back immediately.
So I recently went to Paraguay. My grandma passed away. And waking up in the morning.
Blessings.
Thank you. And waking up in the morning, my mom would have mate, and so I would drink it with her and all this stuff. And then when I came back, I was like, you know what? It's hot. It's a great way of drinking a lot of water.
Yeah, it is.
So now when I'm working, I just pour ice water.
And that's
this
just
whole
cool
thing.
to drink out of. That's so much better than the regular bunk-ass water bottle. That's like customized.
Yeah, right? And
It's
you're
wrapped in
drinking
tooled leather.
You're drinking out of like, this whole thing. And without thinking about it, you're done with everything. It's a great way to get water. It's refreshing because the tea leaves have like mint in it and all kinds of stuff. And yeah.
So the side thing on the side, does it hold D's?
It's too small to hold these.
Good follow up,
Yeah.
man. I'll set them up, you knock them down.
But yeah, like I'll
That
show
thing
you
is
downstairs.
super cool,
It's like you have it's a wooden cup wrapped in leather.
That's awesome.
And
Yeah,
and
I
then
like it.
on the side here, you have a little pouch here for your metal straw to hold to, so you can take it with you.
That's super
and
cool.
Everyone you see in Paraguay, you will see carrying around this.
Well, yeah, you stay hydrated. So here's my requirement. anytime I am ever on a call with you at work, I want to see you sip out of that thing, all right? That awesome cup.
That's the thing, though. Like
everybody else's
anybody
cup
else,
pales in
anybody
comparison.
else who doesn't know what that is would just see me pouring water and then like, it's like, what the heck is Jose smoking at work?
Is that a water bong?
Yeah, right. Like
the side thing. Hold your stash.
Yeah, you can hide the weed here.
You see any smoke coming out of it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, like it's really cool to do it, especially like I don't know, like in America, I guess it would be like kind of weird. There's that whole stigma of like sharing something with somebody else, right?
Oh
Yeah. So, but like in Paraguay, it's very common to
share.
Share, and like you get a group of friends, or you're just carrying with you, and whoever's with you, like in the passenger seat or whatever, you just pass it back and forth. And there's like things we have, like the youngest is always the one that would serve, or like things like that go with it.
That's interesting because you know what? Like growing up in Philly, right? Everyone's like, "Oh, don't drink after me." Yet we'll pass the shit out of a blunt. That is a rule. That is a hard and fast rule.
Yeah.
That is a shareable thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yet if you pass the water bottle around, I'm like, "Yo,
what the
after
heck?
you just smoked after me."
It's like you just asked to share my water bottle, but you touch your lip. You remember that, right?
don't
Like when
touch
you
your
had the
lips.
squirty, like either the Gatorade or whatever. Let me get a hit of that. It's like
have
you
your
would
boy
squirt her.
sucking
It's
on
like,
it.
oh,
Get
it
out of there,
touched
dude.
the corner of your lip. What the hell, man? You owe me $1.
You always have your one boy who would just like
Yeah.
put his lips on it, and then you'd be doing this on it with your,
dude.
rub it off.
I mean, this is probably disgusting to somebody who's never experienced this, but back in Philly, when it was lunchtime and you bought yourself some fries, if you didn't spit on it,
Oh, they were gone.
they were gone.
They were
People would
free
take
reign.
it.
Fries
People
were
would take it. So it was like literally like as soon as you got your fries, you're like, like it is disgusting and like horrible, kind of like thing to think about, like how animalistic people are about it. But but that was the thing. Like people would do that. Like
That's why everyone's afraid of school lunches in Philly.
yeah, dude, it was nuts. Like you had money to buy wings. Like that was like bang, man. Like that guy who was like, oh my God, his mom gives him money to buy wings every single day.
We're taking those wings.
It's like mine, I got the free lunch. It's funny, man. The Joey Coy, do you know Joe Coy, the comedian, Filipino guy?
Bad with names.
Anyway, he really funny comedian, but he said like he put his kid into like some school, like private school and all this stuff, and he had to fill out paperwork for what kind of food he can eat and not eat and all this different stuff. And he's laughing and he's like, when I was a kid, we fill out paperwork to get free food, and here I am filling out paperwork to pay for your food, like basically in school. Like it's like a whole thing, and it's true, man. Like I don't know how you were, but like yeah, we got the free lunches. Like
I
like that burger that stick together with the bun, and it was like disgusting.
So like those lunches were like, that's my only memory. I don't know if I had a difference between free and purchased lunch, but like lunch in Frankfurt High School was awful. None of it was good. The milk, the sealed milk from the refrigerator was the only safe thing.
You guys had fridge?
We did. We did. We
didn't have fridge with our milk. It was like room temperature, like
curdled. It's like cottage cheese. Oh man,
no, the chocolate milk. I think it had like
everybody wanted the chocolate milk.
Dude,
The chocolate milk was you could
in
trade
the box,
up,
and
man.
you would just like open it up.
We used to trade like 2 chocolate milks for 3
it's
cigarettes.
Prison. It's literally like prison.
We used to trade cigarettes for chocolate milk.
There's trading going on. Did I ever tell you about my side hustle in high school?
With the tokens.
With the tokens, yeah.
Same here, man. Tokens, chocolate milk, and cigarettes. If you had those 3 things, you were a rich man in high school.
So it was like this. You instead of school buses, the Philadelphia School District used SEPTA.
Yeah.
And so the school would provide tokens for you to get to school and back home.
Mm-hmm.
But I would get drop off at school. So therefore, I had 5 extra tokens at the end of the week every single time. And so I would sell them less than what SEPTA. So people who didn't get the tokens, who didn't qualify for that, they would like basically like buy them off me.
Right. Yeah.
And so I got caught in English class selling tokens. Literally looked like a drug deal. Because I passed the tokens, they passed me cash, and the teacher's like, what the F is going on back there? And I was like, I swear, it's just tokens. It's like, you are not allowed to sell those. Those are given to you, blah, blah. So then I got cut down to 5 tokens a week. So I would walk home in order to keep my side hustle going.
We used to gamble the tokens away. We would be at lunch in the corner table
Like
with
dice.
a deck of cards. Well, we'd have a deck of cards. We'd be playing poker for a half hour, playing poker, right? Someone would be rich in tokens. We would do flip. We would do quarter flip. Closest to the wall takes.
Yeah.
Best out of 3.
Yep.
And it was just like, those games got out of hand, though, because like when you had no more token, you started betting other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I'll bet you won't do this in history class. Like, oh, man.
Dude, it was nuts. But then when I got to like 10th grade on, I went to like a nice high school, and they had like a cafeteria, and like you could get like there was like salad bar, there was everything
Salad bar.
yeah. I was like, whoa, this is nice.
Salad bar.
It's like fresh cooked.
We didn't have
meals,
green
like,
things in high school.
Oh no, I went.
If
to
we
a
did, they were
nice
green
high
beans that came out of a can.
I went to a nice high school, so
I went to Frankfurt High School, which wasn't like, I mean, it was like, it looked like a really fancy jail. That's how I would describe it, right? So there was like a metal detector.
yep,
There was cages on all the windows.
yep,
Not because people wanted to jump out, because kids would throw books out.
yep,
And even managed to jam the books out sometimes, you know?
yeah.
But we had like, there was like good classes there. Like I was in like one, like the health academy, and that gave you access to like better math classes and computer classes. That's why I wanted to be in the, they're like the health academy students get to take computer programming. I was like, I'll be in the health academy. Give me the computer classes.
Dude, it was like stepping into a whole nother world when I went to a nice high school. Because like you said, there was like metal detectors, like bomb scare every week, like all that stuff in Philly. And then
Yeah,
I went to
yeah.
like a nice high school, and you know, like it was like, what club do you want to be? You want improv club, ping pong club? Like
Wanna
all
be in
the
the a cappella
theater.
club? Here's a
Oh, you
sweater
don't want
vest for the
theater?
a cappella club.
You want to build stuff? We got robotics club. We got
Yeah.
theater, like building. Like we'll give you power tools and you can build stuff. Like, and we'll teach you. Like, I was like, wow, this is like a whole nother world. Like,
Dude, in the wood shop in Frankfurt, along with building a clock, almost every single year someone built multiple knives and machetes and stuff and shanks and weapons. Every single time it happened.
my son built a clock in woodshop.
Yeah, clocks are one of the cool things you learn how to build. But yeah, like there wasn't. I was in the 13 club, which was for like athletics and
MS-13,
academic. No, not the gang. It
Not
wasn't-
the gang.
It wasn't quite as cool as
13.
that. It wasn't quite as cool as that.
No.
So I was lucky to like have a good group, but
Yeah.
it was wild, man. Like, and I went from Frankfurt High School right to CCP, and it was no different. Like, I showed up for my first day of classes, and there was people playing hacky sack on the lawn, smoking pot, drinking 40s. I was like, yes. Hey guys, you look like my kind of crowd.
Yeah.
They're like, we got class in like 10 minutes. You want to join? I was like, yeah. You show up to class. It was a mess.
Dude,
But I went from there. Once I
Delaware
was
County Community College wasn't any different.
once I was able to get it. Once I was able to spend 4 to 5 years getting out of community college.
Dude, me and you are the same. Yeah, 'cause it's like I got my
actually-
associate's degree in like 7 years.
When I was 28, I graduated from community college,
Dude, same.
and then I eventually made it through a regular 4-year bachelor degree.
Yeah, I stopped there. But yeah, like it was like straight out of the scene in in Tommy Boy, like the beginning scene when he goes, checks his grade, and he's like, a D, a D, a D, I passed.
Yes.
It was literally that. And the day that I graduated, the day I got my last exam, was the day my oldest son was born.
Wow.
So like I was like married, like, all right, done. I'm done with this whole college thing.
Yeah.
I'm going. Yeah, it worked out great.
I worked for a while afterwards. The only reason that I did go back to school, I always wanted a 4-year degree because I thought I really needed it to get into application development. And I don't regret going to get it. I really think it was money well spent. It was an investment in myself. But I will say this. The only reason, the top reason that I went back was because the opportunity presented itself. Like I was working in the IBEW Electricians Union, but I was working for Verizon as a cable pair technician. So like I would investigate the old telephone lines. They quickly were going away, so they were laying people off. So they were like, listen, we'll give you unemployment benefits, full health care and unemployment benefits, if you go back to school and pick a major that's in demand. You get extra benefits, extra fast food, like you'd pretty much be paid for. You have to pay some out of your pocket. I was like, okay. And I was like, I definitely want to go for comp sci IT. And they were like, that's no problem. Show us I had to mail all my grades once per semester. They didn't care what they were. They just wanted to see I was making progress. And that's the reason I did it.
Nice.
And I had support. The biggest reason was that I could do it because I have my wife's support too. Yeah. She was like, this is a good idea. You go, then I'll go. And that's the 5-year deal we made. Like I went, she went now. You know, she's out.
Awesome.
And grinding. So
that's
the reason. Because my kids, like my younger daughter wants to go into nursing, but even she is like, why don't I just maybe get an associate's degree, start working as an RN right away from Bucks County? Don't have a lot of bills, you know. You don't need to do it. If you want to get an advanced degree, like after you pass like your health exams, like your state boards, that's just after the fact. You can do it online. It's not easy, but you can do it. Everything else, like it's almost like my other daughter just, you know, she doesn't need to. She's in sales. So a lot of people aren't going to school anymore.
Dude,
the numbers are down. Penn State, Abington, where I went, they just got rid of 25% of their staff.
A lot of people are starting their own business and all this stuff. So the whole workforce in general is like,
being upturned.
It's like
there's a shortage of doctors now. I was reading.
What?
Yeah, and you know why? Because no one wants to do that for a long time. It's expensive, and it's really, really difficult. And anyone who's like, who's smart is kind of like, I'm gonna just start a couple businesses, see where I land. I can make the same amount of money. Yeah, you know, you have to be passionate about that to go into it. You really have to want to help folks.
There was a financial guy who, I think it's Grant Stephan, if you know who it is.
Yeah.
He compared like basically somebody who went into the trades of like a plumber and started their retirement right away and all the stuff, and somebody who went to become a doctor with all the debt that he accrued and had to pay off, and then start retirement later. Like the plumber comes out ahead.
Yeah. They do. They do. And the opportunity for side work to start business, like you can retire earlier. I have a bunch of guys I know, a good friend who's a plumber, and man, he like started working out on his own, started a small business. His son was like, you know what, I want to take up the business too, has a big business now. And it's just like, you know, he just like, you know, consults and does hands-on work still, but they make plumbers, or they kind of can, like, you can kind of charge what you want to, like, they don't, and a nice honest plumber gets repeat business because they're honest, but like when the water is flowing, you got to get it fixed, man.
Yeah, if it's an emergency, it's an emergency. I'll pay.
You got to pull me, you got to pay.
You know, like, no problem, right? Like you saved me from this, and you're like the one that answered, and you're the one that showed up.
Yeah, your website's down at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
and you're paying me to come in, like it's extra.
No, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. You know,
100%.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't mind paying it. I'm saying that a lot of kids are opting, reading for the trades because, for one thing, they pay you to go to school. It's the other way. That's the way it should be, right? You should be paid to become a productive member of society. You shouldn't have to go into debt and have that stress. And a lot of younger kids, especially the new generation, are like, I want a work-life balance. They see what
Oh, yeah.
the grind, right? They do the grind, but they're like, no, my grind is from 9 to 5, 8 to 5 or whatever, right? I'm not working late.
I don't know. So I have sort of like a beef with because you start watching YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels and all that stuff, right? Like, and you see all these people who are totally against like corporate world and like the whole concept and it's outdated, this and that and all that stuff. It's like, yes, I recognize that there's places out there that is totally like horrible, right? But like I am lucky, I guess I would say, that I have worked for really cool companies
Yeah.
and really good people who take care of their people. And if you find, and they are out there, the places that take care of the people, that really invest in their people and think that a person who is marketable is a person who will produce the most, and not just try to put them down to keep them there and all that kind of mentality.
Produce. Right?
Yeah, they will produce for you and they're valuable as heck. And you're going to keep like basically rewarding them. And that's the kind of corporate world that I've been lucky enough to work for
That's a
past
culture.
three
That's a positive
three jobs,
culture.
right? Three different places,
That's awesome.
right?
Yeah.
And so I'm totally like for it, right? Like I totally like I like the corporate world. I like the like basically climbing the ladder, going different like growing your career in that end, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't agree with the whole like basically they're like all these people who are like totally like shunning down on it and giving it a bad light. It's like, yes, there are places like that, but you have to recognize when,
I think the contention comes with the understanding that like, oh, why do like the directors, presidents, and board members make so many millions of dollars a year, right? Like how they don't understand that a lot of the time people don't read between the lines. Someone who says, oh, I made $500 million last year with my company, their company made $500 million, right? They may take in just a small portion of the dividends of being traded publicly, or so they don't. While they have a high like an upper lifestyle, right? Make no mistake, they put in 16-hour days to get there, right? Like a lot, like
and
it
and
takes,
it's only like a very even within like the market of people that are like basically willing to do this, there's like this small little percentage of people who are willing to grind even harder to make the sacrifice. And not only that, like basically put everything on their shoulders, like to do so, right?
have the
Because
risk and the stress
they make
and the-
one bad mistake, and everything is like basically on them.
Yep.
I've had like I know a CTO who made $400,000 or $500,000 a year, and came in, did great things for the company, amazing changes left and right, and then did one mistake, and got the boot,
Yeah.
right? Like it's like, but he was working tons of hours, and it's like those kind of people, they deserve it, I mean, like, and if you don't agree with that, you don't agree with that. But like, there's definitely, merit to that type of job.
There 100% is, and that the nice part I think about it's the security, but good places that invest in their culture it means that they invest in their employees and their employees' skills and welfare and happiness. So we see a lot of that at our place, right? Like we see a lot of like, I always see like, hey, what are you doing on late or what's going on? Like there's always like we always try and figure out better ways to work.
Yeah.
And that's just a factor of culture, right?
Yep.
We invest a lot in our culture at work.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
But like, there's going to be times like the thing I disagree with sometimes that I see people complaining about having to work 10 or 12 hours, like when things happen and you're a professional and you're the best person to fix it, it's kind of an honor to step in and have to do the little
Thursday
bit extra.
night, I was on the couch, like basically playing chat, and I started seeing the chat going off, like, hey, something is down, and all that stuff. And I just literally like, all right, let's start a meeting. Let's go on there. Let's, and within like an hour of like troubleshooting, we got it back up and everything like that. It took me an hour of my time.
Yeah.
But like, really, it's like, there's probably an hour of my time that I was, not doing work when I was supposed to be doing it, like in my weekly. Like, if you really like be honest with yourself, like we have flexibility here and there, to we have to get all our stuff done, and people hold us accountable of that, and you have to hold yourself accountable of that, and as long as you do that and put in your time and basically, and sometimes even more, because it's fun, because I like what I do.
And if you pull your actuals, if you track and pull your actuals, I do, like, it evens out. Like, it's balance, right? Like, yeah. I know I can just, by off the top of my head, I know that there are certain parts of the year near the end of the quarters where we are going to work more. It's going to be busier. Things are going to get crazier. Yeah. Things are going to be, there's more work to do, but in the beginnings of things, like, it's like, okay, there's a lot of investigation, discussion, research, and those are the times when, like, I'm taking an hour. Like, the other day in the office, I sat down for an hour with everyone, and we just talked and hung out, like, over lunch,
Okay. Yeah.
It was just lunch.
And another hour in the morning when I kept telling you to go back to your desk.
Yes. Well, okay. So I come in early to chop it up. I show up early to chop it up.
Dude, an hour into work, like, Roger's still there with his backpack, just like talking to people, and I'm like, dude, go to your desk, get stuff done. I'm just messing with him, like, come on, man.
That's I'm building relationships.
Yeah, networking. But yeah, man, like, corporate world can be fun too. There's definitely like fun stuff, and it's not just like pizza party, like people say, like on stuff. There is obviously that type of world too out there where it's like, oh, you worked 90 hours, we got to our goals, and you didn't get recognized, but so and so did.
The KPMGs are done.
And it's like, yeah, and here's a pizza party for you guys. There is those places, and I don't disagree and agree with people who have frustrations over that type of environment. But there's also good places out there. And if you find good places, it's really, really, like, basically good on you to, like, basically invest your time to give them more value. So then it's like you feed off each other, back and forth.
Yeah, I like the continual investment in learning. That's an important thing.
Yeah. No, there's definitely, like, the other day I got approached and I was like, and my manager was just like, hey, there's this conference, and all this stuff happening in September. Look into it, getting there.
Yeah, I'm going to one. So, which one are you going to?
The Power Platform.
Oh, fun.
Yeah,
that's cool. Where's that at? Isn't that
Vegas.
out west? Vegas, yeah. Out west, yeah.
Power but like cool. I went last year. Now they're like, hey, we're gonna really invest into this. We want you to be basically knowing what's the trending thing into it. It's like,
thank you for sending me to Vegas, like, for it to learn.
But, like really, it's like, I mean, yeah, there is those fun dinners at the end and all.
No, but
stuff.
The conferences are awesome.
Conferences is like all day. Like if you think about it,
no,
like
tired.
You're
tired.
You're dead, right? Like you're dead at the end. It's like you're literally working 14 hours basically, because it's like there's like the 8 hours of the conference. There's all these different things that you're attending, classes, everything like that, workshops. And then you're talking about it. Yeah. Then you're like networking with people, and then you're talking about it because you're all just gathering all these information. And then you're like, hey, you work in this space. How do you guys use this? Blah 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 blah. And then you start forming little like networking pods, and all day long you're talking about this subject. And it's such a burnout, and it's like people who don't go or don't come from that world. Like I know, like definitely there's that of like people who might have saw my Instagram and it was like, oh, he's in Vegas. Oh, he went to this place and that place for dinner. It's like, yeah, the company's paying for dinner, but at the same time, it's like they don't see all the freaking hours that I put in, like, for that. And not only that, then I have to come back to work. Then I have to, like, basically write out everything, teach other people, you know, and all this stuff. And with pleasure, it's like, oh my God, like, I got so hyped over the things that I learned that I was like, let's do this, let's do that, let's do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to do it too. So and then the other part of the conferences that's really cool that you don't actually account for until you're like, man, I'm really tired, is after like networking and workshops happen, if you encounter a problem that everybody has, at some point everyone's like, yo, I wonder if we could plug this in and fix it.
Yeah.
And then it's like a multi-hour thing because you have some of the most intelligent and expert people in the room that are trying to solve that one problem. So like the benefits is you learn so much by watching someone else troubleshoot something. You're like, I didn't know I could do that with something simple like browser tools. You'd be like, you can do that in the browser. Like, when was that released? You know, but like, that's the cool part about it. Like, I remember going to, when we used to run .NET Nuke, I used to go to the conferences all the time. And that was kind of a suit. Like, that was basically .NET forms. Right. And that's how the CMS is built. Then they jammed MVC in it. And they were like, hey, let's jam Angular in it too, and let it run the front end. No mas, man. It was real hard to make it work. And that was hard. That was a hard problem to figure out. But like, everyone was in a room figuring that out. And it was just, I was kind of just a background fan sitting there watching them troubleshoot on the screen on top. And I learned so much about how to pull apart an application, build it back up, and figure out, you know, what was wrong with it. Especially when you have a really tough problem, you know, because you, at this point in your career, like, there's certain things you can like go to App Insight and be like, it's that. Can you over here fix this? But then there's other things where you're like, oh, what? Why? Wait. Well, what if this? And then you go down the rabbit hole.
Oh, my favorite are the ones that are like, I know how to fix it, but how the hell did it get there? Right?
Yeah. And then you start analysis, like, right?
Jesus, like that to me is like,
you
know, killer. But like, there's easy ones that are like, you know, like the other day I got like, oh, this is having like a course issue, blah blah. It's like, oh yeah, it's this one button. I know where it is. And it's like, oh, you know, Jose, you're so great, blah blah. It's like, no, it's literally like, I just knew where the button is. It's like,
I know where that button is.
Yeah, that's all. Like that doesn't cause for.
But that's like expertise, right? There's someone who doesn't know where that button is, right?
Yeah.
Because that's not in their realm of expertise. So like, you do it, they're like so thankful. Like, thank God you knew where that damn button was, because I would have been searching for it for at least an hour.
Yeah.
You know?
No, like once you start breaking everything down, it's like it makes it so much easier, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I often talk about like the discipline of things, and the discipline of application development is learning how to troubleshoot and learning how to troubleshoot specific things.
That's really the key there, like problem solving, right?
Yeah.
If you're a good problem solver, like, you're good for this career, right? So I know people who were like, used to be mechanics, used to be, you know, woodworkers, and like me, I was a landscaper, having associates in business, you know, completely out of the left field, and then came into application development and became good at it. And I think the real reason is like, people who are good at problem solving, they become really good at this, right? Where I know people who went into actual computer science and they might know computer science and all that stuff, but are not good at problem solving. And they just like struggle so much with this.
Yeah, there's like the theoretical side, like
people who are like, you know, the book smart people, or like the people who can get through anything, you know, that they're just like, you know, very like slow turning kind of.
They take their time to consider, think through the problem, and
no, it's not even that. I think that's just different personality, but it's more of like you know, like you can figure it out, but you have to like kind of like it's almost like everything has to fit in a puzzle piece like correctly for you to figure out where you don't see the abstract, you know, like thing. I don't know how else to explain it, but like basically if you're good at problem solving, you kind of can make assumptions that this puzzle piece will fit here, even though I don't have everything around it yet, right?
Yep.
Like it is sort of like that, right? Like you're looking at a at a picture and you're looking at all your puzzles, and you know, like, because this puzzle piece is blue, and then the picture it shows here is going to be somewhere here, right? And you might not be perfect every single time, but like, you know, it gets you
it's
there.
blue and it has three sides.
Blue, and
it's
then in
like this general area.
right?
Like
Like
let me
the,
put it in place and see what happens.
there's that kind of like thinking like that helps you, you know, in the problem solving. Whereas other people, they just have to see, you know, they have to kind of like basically like almost follow a regimen or follow an instructional in order to solve the problem, right? Like, I think there's a difference.
There's a difference for sure.
Of who can be good at not, right? But yeah, either way, I think that's why I love this field, right? Because it doesn't require, you know, like, you know, all these schooling or anything like that for you to be successful, for you to be lucrative in it, you know, everything.
Yeah. You can get a relatively cheap computer and some free accounts, and or just YouTube. You can watch and touch and learn to your heart's content. Even any computer, right? You just get any computer at all.
I have a friend, I talked about this before, but like a friend who opened up a schooling in Ethiopia, and basically the schooling like teaches people and then basically gets them to the point of like outsourcing work out there and getting the economy running, you know, in Africa as a point of outsource, and is doing amazing, right? And it's because it is so cheap and easy to sort of, you know, become an evangelist of this kind of thing, and set up something so people can become successful at it. You know, there's all these people who go through boot camps and become successful at it. Yeah. And there's other people
when you
who
talk
do
about the tooling required, right? Like what's the cost of membership, right?
Yeah.
There's one tool that we use, right? And those tools, they get better. You know, you can get a really great tool, or you can get a somewhat okay tool, but there's a low barrier, a low purchasing price to get. You have first. It's not even about buying the computer, really. You can get a cheap computer for a few $100s, but you have to be willing to. That's the one thing you do. The one thing you do have to be willing is, say, for long periods of time, focus. You have to learn how to focus for long periods of time on a single problem, right? Because in the beginning, I remember trying to figure out how to put a web page together. It was not. I was like, this is strange. Like things were broken. It gave me no feedback initially, right? Because it wasn't. I learned the front end first, then moved to the back. The back end gives you feedback, gives you numbers you can act on, right? But variables. But the front end, you were kind of like, you know, how do I figure this problem out? And it was sitting there for a long period of time, focusing on it, and then learning to be comfortable with leaving it broken because I couldn't fix it that day. You know, having to try again or ask somebody, you know, or wait for a reply on an online forum, things like that. The great thing is the community is vibrant, right? Yeah. You can ask someone a question and they're like, they get back to you right away.
Thank God for ChatGPT.
Yo, it is.
It's really because one, I seriously despise online forums as much as they help me. I despised asking a question or answering a question in forums. It was literally like a, you know. So there was one time that literally ruined it for me. It's like somebody had a question. I answered the question, and I used a method that was like unorthodox, like, or not even unorthodox. It's like, if you really know the framework and all this stuff, you would not use this method to get an ID, you know, of somewhere, because it is not very good, like as far as like performance wise, right? So it was known within the community that you don't use that method, right? But in order to not use that method, you would need to like write out a couple more lines of code, you know, in order to do. So anyway, somebody asked a question, and instead of me writing out the whole lines of code to get that particular ID that I wanted, I just used the method as a shorthand. And then I answered the question. Then the answer of the question was below it, right? So that had nothing to do with the question. And then I got murder in the comments. Like, how dare you use that? You don't know anything if you're using that, blah blah. And I'm just like, it's
Thumbs down.
it's
Your
beyond,
post has been removed and
yeah,
archived.
like somebody else's answer got like marked, even though I was first, and even though mine was correct. Like basically the other person is like got, and it's like, oh no, like you never. And I'm like, really? Like it's really like that? Like I've gotten like basically like reprimand because like I didn't use the right spacing, like and or how much spacing is there, and all that stuff, and it's like, oh, your code is ugly, like, and I'm like,
dare you
come on,
post
I'm
this
just
so we can see
answering
it.
the question, and I'm doing it like really fast to be nice guy, and it's like, so I was like, I swore I'm never gonna use Stack Overflow again, I'm like, that's it, I'm done, like I'm gonna try my best to look at the documentation from now on, and never use Stack Overflow, another stuff. And then now
I always used it when I got stuck on documentation.
Yeah.
But the thing with like the thing I feel like some of the moderators fail to understand at times is that because you're a moderator, you're most likely an expert, because moderators just don't just let anyone moderate, right? You have to understand that everyone that's posting is not an expert. That's why they're asking a question. So when you answer it, you almost have to have that unending patience to explain and teach. Yeah. Right? That's what the post is for, right? It's
there's
but they like, if the code isn't elegant,
it's more of like, like people just try and flex, like, oh, look how much I know, right? Like, and that became like really like muddy waters in that sense, because I was like, I don't want to be part of this community anymore.
Yeah. That was like the first 3 weeks of my first job. I was like, I can't copy and paste code. Can't copy and paste code at all. I can refer to it. I can use it, but it needs to be changed heavily. There's no like just turnkey put puzzle pieces together that I find elsewhere together. You have to have the creativity to write and think through the problem, make it better.
Yeah.
You can't just like put it together and wash your hands, because then you run into performance and you have to refactor it anyway, right? You can't just.
There's that.
I mean, there's depending on what it's for. Right? Sometimes everyone comes to the agreement where like quick and dirty, we're under the gun. Quick and dirty's fine.
Yeah, we call it the right technet, right?
Yeah.
Like if you knowingly put something in there, knowing that it's
promise
to
fix
change.
it later.
Yeah. Except you guys never fix it.
I do.
No.
We do. Yes, we do.
No, you
yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Your team is the worst at that.
No, we're not.
You suck at this.
Yeah, we don't. We're always bothering
Shame.
you guys.
Shame.
The shame bell. We have a lot of stuff captured, actually. We have to work on, actually. Come to think of it.
Yeah.
I like that we have time to do that, though.
Yeah. I'm going to shame you until you do it.
More work for you guys, though.
I don't care.
You're going to
get it nice. But yeah.
We've been leaning on you guys heavily. You guys would do such a great job.
I'm so happy I'm not your support
not
anymore.
This time. Not this time.
I see what's going on, and I'm like, oh God, I'm far away from that.
We were talking about on Friday. We're like, man, we have such a great DevOps team. Like I always take time to like remember, but like, that because they're just, you guys just. We just toss it over the fence sometimes. We're like, hey, here's an explanation.
Yeah.
We need it now.
That's the worst. The throwing over the fence. It's a term. Like, basically, it's like, my job is done. Now you go do it, what you need to do.
We give a story and an explanation.
It's like, come on. Like, there's no thought behind this, Like, and so, yeah, we deal with that a lot. But
yeah, there's time, so it depends on what it is. Like, usually it's lack communication. It's like we think, like if the team thinks that you guys already know, we'll just be like, it's like a one-off, right?
Yeah, but you never know, right? Like there's a new person that you have to explain it. But anyway, not to get too much into that. But at the end of the day, find yourself a good corporate job.
Yeah, we did.
There are out there.
We have a great, nice, medium-sized company that's fantastic to work for.
Yep. And yeah, so I think that's it, right?
Yeah, man, we covered many topics. So this is good. Maybe next time Pierre will be here to add some color commentary.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. He's going to be fixing his kitchen for the next 10 years. So
would you be willing to try some DDD?
These?
No.
So I'm gonna get
Day-day-day.
Day-day-day, yeah. We can take day-day-day to the head.
I have some downstairs. I'll clean the metal straw so my lips didn't touch. And then maybe you can try and tell me what you think about it.
All right.
All right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool, man.
Let's go.
Let's wrap it up.
Later.
Have a good one. Bye.